National Geographic presents.
What I'm asking you to do is dangerous. You need to take your time to think it through.
No, I don't. What do I do?
We can't save everyone. But if I don't try, I don't think I'll be able to live with myself.
What are we supposed to do?
Some stood by.
Anything. You have to.
She stood up.
There has to be a line.
Belle Powley is Meep Geese.
There has to be me for this to work.
A Small Light limited series premieres tonight at 9. Stream on Hulu and Disney+.
So, you open Google Chrome on your phone, you're rushing to buy tickets to a concert that all your friends are going to. Picture yourself now, crowd surfing to the front, being invited onto the stage, backstage the world tour, and before you know it, you're dancing in Tokyo. Wait, what? 3 tickets left? It's a good thing your saved payment details autofill quickly and securely. There's no place like Chrome. Download Google Chrome on your phone.
Okay, here we go. What's up? It's the ManFUzed Podcast. I'm Kay Lee, your host, my co-host, Ben H. So today on the ManFUzed Podcast, my co-host, Ben H, thinks he can communicate with somebody on the astral plane. Is that even possible? He seems to think so. And our guest, Stuntman Dekay, is going to go into detail how he found an Ark that was built hundreds and hundreds of miles from land. Most of the time when someone decides to build a boat, a huge boat, they do it near the water, right? And how he turned this find into a documentary that he directed and produced. All right, Ben, so detail how you are communicating with your buddy in Costa Rica.
Josue and I had a conversation on the astral plane last week.
Oh, yeah?
Unbelievable. I was out on my boat with my wife and my son last week on Thursday. Okay, it was warm last Thursday. It was like 85 degrees. And we went out. I've got a boat on Lake Lanier, and we'll go out with my boy's 5 years old, and we go out to the island, and, we'll park and run around on the beach and stuff. And I was telling my wife, I was like, I really miss Josue. I really want to talk to him. There's just some things I want to talk to him about, and I just really been missing him today. He was just on my heart, and he was on my mind. And we communicate through WhatsApp. And Friday morning, I woke up to a WhatsApp from Josue, and I'll play it for you. You want to hear it?
Sure.
So this was the morning after I told my wife, I'm just kind of going through some stuff right now that I feel like I need to share with Josue. I really miss him. The next morning, I woke up to this.
We are in the Caribbean in a retreat with 18 people. Last night we have ceremony. After the ceremony, I went to sleep, and I wake up today dreaming about you. It was a very strong dream, brother. In general, I don't remember fully, but in general, you was, I will not say not good, but you was into a transition. It felt like you was moved, and you came, and there was like something going on with you, with your family, with your life path, and you was kind of considering, whole approach that you have to life, considering how to, what's the path and the decisions that you're taking, and about your lifestyle, about, all what you do, and we went into a conversation in the dream where the conversation was going into, hey, maybe you are putting too much energy into a lifestyle that demands you a lot of focus into the material realm, and maybe to have more of a simple approach to life, it will be the path that will help you. But you was as well into seeing that, but not really into letting go the decisions and the path that you're walking. So it was interesting that you came like that to me in the dream. So just, letting you know what did happen there in the astral world.
We've all experienced where you think about somebody you haven't thought about or seen in probably, 5-10 years, and then all of a sudden the next week or the next day that person somehow pops up.
But that was weird.
That's way weird. That's almost as weird.
That was crazy.
And I'm not sure if
the timestamps here too. It's like it was the next day. And one thing I will say about these plant medicines is that they expose you to higher levels of consciousness or different dimensions than you're capable of experiencing at your resting vibration. It increases the vibration of your frequency, brings you into higher elevations. And so I think that once your body and your soul has kind of taken that path to there, maybe you have access to that through in your sleep rhythms or something like that. I don't know, but there's definitely something there.
Fuck yeah. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast, but it reminds me of and I was actually telling my son this yesterday because he was talking about some of the dreams he's had. My son's 10 years old, and he's like, he was telling me about these crazy dreams and how the next day something happened. I'm like, well, yeah, was trying to explain to him, well, the chances of you having a dream about chicken and the next day eating chicken is not really like far out of the realm of, but like, and I told him this story, and not that I was like diminishing anything of what he was saying. I was just like, what you just played, how you were thinking about this person, you really wanted to talk to him, and the next morning, boom.
The weird thing about it is that's what I wanted to talk to him about.
That's crazy.
That's literally what I wanted to talk to him about, because those are the kinds of things that I talk to him about. Because when I go to his place, we're in the middle of the jungle. There's no cars, there's no jewelry, there's no money, there's no nothing. There's the land, the jungle, and that's it. It's all they have. And I told my wife, I was like, this is such a different kind of wealth. And it's exposure to a really simple life where I see the kind of happiness and the kind of gratitude and the kind of love that they share just in the little time that I'm there. And I'm just like, we are fucking up. We are really fucking up, because we're all, we have the beautiful house and the beautiful this and the beautiful that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there is. I love my life. But I go and I see that and I'm like,
so simple.
And so since I've had that experience, it's like there's this massive contrast within me where I'm like, I only have so many years to spend with my son. I only have so many years of my life to spend with my wife and even myself. Am I doing it the right way? And so I'm constantly battling this. And I was just kind of in a mode, and I was telling my wife, I was like, guys, really need to talk to Josue about that.
I think we all are battling it in some sense. I mean, we're all, you do what you love, and I'm sure you do what you love, Nick. I mean, but at the same time, and I'm kind of doing what I love, but I mean, if we all had the choice and money was off the table, would we be doing what we're doing if we didn't need money? We probably wouldn't be showing up to production meeting. I mean, I don't know. I love working with the Burt Show, but would I be getting up at 3 a.m.? And I don't even have a long day as far as the amount of hours I work on a daily here anyway. But no, I wouldn't be. But money, got to pay the bills, got to keep moving forward.
Well, Nick would still be a stunt devil.
I would not be a stuntman.
No?
No, I would direct my own movies.
Yeah.
The story that I was telling my son, just getting back to it, was when I was dating this girl, my girlfriend of 5 years, probably about the time that you and I were hanging out, Nick, off and on. And I remember having this vivid ass dream, and it was crazy because the kid's house I was dreaming about backed up to this like pond. And now he's in jail for shooting at a cop. A fucking idiot.
My gosh.
Oh my God. Don't get me started on some meth rolled fucking psychotic episode where he thought shooting at police would be great out of his trailer. Anyway, but the dream was about his house.
It's not Brian, is it?
Which Brian?
The guy you're talking about who shot up the place.
Brian Ullman?
No, it's a different. I know a different Brian that shot at a cop on meth.
Ooh, Brian who? What's his last name?
It starts with a G. I don't want to call him out. I don't know if he's in jail still.
I'm coming after you on a meth fuel. Yeah. No. So we had this dream that this house was being surrounded by fucking alligators. I'm not even joking. Like, they just kept coming in. And I woke up the next day, and, some dreams you remember, some you don't.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, rolling over and telling my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, this fucking dream I had was so fucking vivid. I mean, like, it was clear as day whose house I was at, and it was scary. And she's looking at me like, okay, what the fuck ever. That day, I didn't have to be at Psycho Tattoo. We didn't open till noon. Out of the 8 years I worked at Psycho Tattoo, that day, a fucking truck pulls up. This gets out to come and get a tattoo. On the side of his truck, it says the Alligator Man.
No way.
And he's got 2 8-foot alligators in the back of his truck and a 6-foot one in a cage that he pulled out, and I got to hold
the next day.
And I got a fucking picture of it framed. I called my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, you would never fucking believe what I'm holding right now.
You knew the alligators were coming.
Out of 8 years of me working there, an alligator man never pulled up.
Ever.
No, that's not a normal occurrence.
Like, I don't know what that means. Probably means nothing. A big fucking coincidence. But that's crazy. You start thinking, man, am I on a different plane here?
Yeah.
Like, how do you explain that? That's different than, hey, I dreamed I was eating chicken. And then, oh, behold, here's chicken, But getting back, that's awesome, Ben. I don't know if you take that as a sign or it's just fucking, that's sick.
Put it this way, I'm going to see Josue soon.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah. If you would have played the audio, it'd be like, Ben, I love you and miss you and thinking about you.
Yeah.
Thinking about those times.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Anyway,
in the jungle.
Yeah, all that time in the jungle.
We
where
were
you
alone.
were Tarzan and I was Jane. Or maybe I was Jane and you were Tarzan.
We switched roles.
You need to be flexible.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
All
This
right,
is
now
mine.
you be Jane.
Yeah, okay. And now it's my turn to swing from the branches. So a couple months ago, getting back to you, Nick, and your directing. So you posted something on Facebook that I guess it was the launch of this documentary that you had just got through shooting, and it was called The Ark of Lilburn. And I remember actually sending you a message. This is before I even thought to have you on. And I was like, congrats. I hadn't watched it yet. And I was like, man, that's pretty fucking cool. And I just kind of read the description of it. But it was 2 weeks ago, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to rent it. And I was like, man, I need to probably get with you and, catch back up. And I watched it and I was like, that's fucking crazy. So just to paint the scene here, the Ark of Lilburn takes place in, I guess, is that a city in Georgia? It's not the county, right? Lilburn's the city?
Yeah, Lilburn is where Stone Mountain is.
Stone Mountain, Lilburn, Georgia. And it's about this guy who owns a metal manufacturer. He's a manufacturer. They do metal. Steel. Structural steel.
Yep.
And I guess this guy had a midlife crisis and decided to build a giant boat in his warehouse. So tell me how you even came upon this, because this is crazy. Like, most people build boats close to the water, I would imagine. And in a way, if you were going to build one that you would probably be able to get out of your building that you're building it in. So paint the scene of how you even stumbled upon Noah's Ark.
So,
the Ark of Lilburn.
So during the pandemic, the entire film industry shut down. All of our unions said, you can't work. I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, and they were like, you can't work. So
all production shut.
Every show. Like, I was on a couple shows. Like, I was on Red Notice right before. And like,
with The Rock, right? And Ryan Reynolds.
So I wrapped that on a Friday. I'm supposed to start up on a movie with Stallone the next day driving. And I get a call, hey, we're not working the pandemic thingy. Then I'm supposed to start on Stranger Things that coming Monday. And they're like, hey, Stranger Things is not happening either, pandemic. So I'm sitting around doing nothing. So I've been writing for years. So I write a screenplay, because I'm bored out of my mind, about what if the United States goes to war with China and an AI negotiates a truce and then creates a new world government where everybody has a social credit score and wears a little social credit watch. Kind of like the Sesame credit score thing that they have in China. And I based it off that system. So I wrote it and I started pitching it to studios, and they were all like, absolutely not.
Jeez.
Like, hard no.
Why hard no? Just because of the war?
It's like the
with
Black
China?
Mirror.
I don't know. It's similar to the Nosedive episode of Black Mirror, which I saw after I wrote it, but it doesn't have much other than just social credit.
Well, I mean, it really seems that things are going in that direction.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, unfortunately, America's turned into a bunch of pussies, and China seems to be coming through.
So,
I don't know what the
If
fuck's
you want
wrong
to know
with
what the
our
ManFUzed
country.
Podcast is all about, it's about what Ben just said. We just fucking say it the way we see it, and that's about it.
But it's true. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with everybody here in America right now? It is absolutely ridiculous.
It
And
is.
you're right. Some shit like that is going to fucking happen.
Sure.
Because everybody's so...
Yeah, like in the story, I have it where there's no currency anymore. It's a combination of social credit and your carbon credits for the day.
Yeah.
So you have to stay carbon neutral.
Right.
They rank you.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we were talking about?
The shit is coming.
Like, for you to take a trip to go from here to drive to here to San Francisco.
You got to buy the carbon credits.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the story is kind of about that. And it's...
I want to see your movie.
I'm ready.
Nobody will bankroll it. I've been trying to get money for it since...
How much do you need?
A few million.
Like 2 million?
I mean, that would be less than I'd like. I'd like more.
3?
Probably more like 7 or 8.
So 7 or 8 million, and how much is it going to make?
Well, there's a program called Largo AI that we actually use to my partner Jay Tyroff and I, who he did Ark of Lilburn with me. And it says the best case scenario is it'll do $50 million in the box office.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's pretty solid.
George has got a pretty good tax credit. We'd package it with minimum guarantees. We just got to find somebody who wants to give us money.
Can you make 20 million?
I mean, the low end projections are better than 20 million in the box office.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's just it doesn't fit the Hollywood narrative, so it's hard to get funding for it.
Yeah, the Hollywood narrative. We've talked about that a
We
million
don't like
times.
the N word.
Normal? No.
Narrative.
Narrative or normal.
So, in any event, we were out there just kind of shooting some proof of concept stuff for that.
So you had like a B-roll or something for that?
We
or
did,
just...
did some stuff for it. And
Sounds cool, man.
And we get to the steel because we wanted this kind of dilapidated building. Because in this world that I created, there's basically you have like verified people, which are like your elites.
Like a Twitter check.
Like a Twitter blue check person before Elon took over.
Yeah,
Thank God for Elon.
The anointed class.
Right, of course.
And then there's like a...
fuck them.
The paupers.
And then there's like a middle class group of people. And then there's a low end group of people. And then below that you have anti-raiders, people who refuse to be raided. And they like live out in flyover country. And
I think I know which group I'm falling into. I'd be an anti-raider.
And
like, fuck you and your rate.
yeah,
Give me my
but
truck.
basically, like the opening sequence of this movie is you see this news report of these anti-raiders like rioting and they're blowing up a grocery store. And then as it pans off the camera, we see it in real world and we see the little news reporter there talking about it, but they're actually all there just saying like food is a human right. And then the police come and just kick the shit out of them and kill them all.
Wow.
And then it goes back and what people are seeing is this complete fake thing. And it was based off kind of emerging AI deepfake technology and stuff like that.
Dang.
But when that's your opening sequence of a movie and, and you send it off to your buddies who greenlight movies at Disney, they're like, no.
Yeah.
What did I just see here? You're the funniest guy on the face of the planet.
Yeah, we'd way rather do pedophile type shit than that.
Well, not getting into all that. But anyway.
They don't have to be biological boobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. So anyways, we get to this steel factory and Cole, who's the son of Lowe, the guy who founded the company, he's like, oh, you got to check out our boat. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. All right. Looking around.
So you were asking him to film there?
Yeah, I wanted to film there, but he's saying a boat. The whole time he keeps saying a boat. So I'm imagining like, a Boston whaler, like a 29-foot. And I'm like, why do I want to see your stupid boat?
Right.
We're looking around and I kind of figure out where I want my shots. And he's like, just come check out the boat. I'm like, all right.
Is this in a different part of the warehouse?
Yeah, he's got this kind of sprawling place.
Cool.
So we get into this room, and this thing's like 26 feet tall, 18 feet wide, and 55 feet long.
Oh, my
and it's
gosh.
all made out of steel. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
That's crazy.
It's a fucking ark.
Yeah, it's a giant boat. But the thing is, and I'm looking around the building, I'm like, there's no way to get it out. And he's like, yeah, my dad built this, and then the company kept expanding around it. So they built buildings around this thing. And I'm like, well, how the fuck are you going to get out? He's like, well, I think we might have to cut the roof off the building and get a crane and pull it out. And I'm like, well, how big is this thing? He's like, I don't know. It's like 100,000 plus pounds in steel. I'm like,
good looking boat though.
Isn't it badass?
It's a beautiful boat.
Oh yeah. His dad's a real craftsman.
Beautiful boat.
And it had been sitting there for 15 years?
Yeah, I think they stopped construction on it during the 2008 recession.
It's a trawler. Right.
Yeah, it's a Alaskan trawler. It's got a 4,500 mile nautical range.
This thing's awesome.
It's badass.
It's worth a fuckload of money, right?
It's got to be. I mean, the interior's got all this mahogany in it. The guy who built the interior of this boat did the mahogany interior for Bill Gates' house. And he said they clear cut an entire jungle in Brazil for Bill Gates' mahogany.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Because I guess mahogany, you have to get it all from the same forest.
Otherwise, it's not going to match or look the same.
So in order for Bill Gates to have his awesome house, according to this guy who did the mahogany on this boat, they had to clear cut an entire rainforest for him.
That's insane.
Oh, great, Bill. You're so worried about climate, and yet we're clear cutting the whole fucking rainforest.
So worried about vaccinating people.
Yeah.
Did you see that interview where that lady was hardlining Bill Gates? And she was like, so what is it that you have done for humanity anyways?
Well, I took out a rainforest.
And he was like, well,
rich mahogany.
No, he was like, well, I don't know if you've heard, but I built the most successful software company in the world. It's called Microsoft. And she said, yeah, but you didn't actually create that software. As a matter of fact, you stole it from this guy, didn't pay him much money for it, and then you created Microsoft with the technology that you stole from him.
Isn't that the story of McDonald's? Ray Kroc?
And he said, well, there's a lot more to it than that. You scale the software company. And she's like, moving on. Tell me about what are your qualifications? What kind of medical degrees do you have? And he was like, well, I don't have any medical degrees. And she's like, but you're a big proponent of vaccinations and vaccines, are you not? And he was like, well, yes, I think that vaccines are necessary to blah, blah, blah. And she's like, but you really don't know, do you? So is this just kind of a continual thing where you take technology, you steal technology from other people, and then you force it on the world? I mean, busted his ass. It was a great interview.
He was like, who set me up with this fucking interview?
Yeah.
So this thing is insane. I mean, and it has its engine. Does it have the engine in it?
Yeah, it has a big Deutz diesel engine in it.
Jeez.
Met all the guys who built this boat, like the mahogany guy who alleges that Bill Gates cut down a rainforest, which I like the idea that it happened. I hope it happened. Just because I like the idea of billionaires being assholes.
Yeah.
That's how you would expect them to be.
Exactly.
Except Warren Buffett.
I don't know. I'm all about my class warfare. And since I'm never going to be a billionaire, I can continually hope that eventually we'll put them all against the wall.
There you go.
Anyway. Yeah, so we met all these really wild characters that built this boat. Eventually Cole convinced his dad to move this damn thing. So then we started getting ready for the preparations of moving this boat, and they called this guy Pat, Modern Movers.
Right.
And,
I remember that.
Yeah, and
Ponytail.
Well, that's what Lo called him. Lo called him Ponytail.
Right.
But he was this Florida man with a ponytail.
House mover.
Knows how to do it.
Says he knows how to do it.
I loved Pat. I thought Pat was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was funny.
There is an entire sequence that didn't make the cut of the movie where we took him out to Bambinelli's in Lilburn, and we just interviewed him and just let him and his wife and his buddy chat. And he literally predicted everything that has happened since Joe Biden's been elected. He's like, gas is going to hit this price on this day. Inflation's going to do this. And like he's over here being this
Nostradamus.
Yeah. And then he said how he was at January 6th at the Capitol, but he didn't go in because he'd forgot his tactical vest. The guy forgot my tactical vest, and I had to pee, so I left.
Lucky guy.
And I don't know if the guy's fucking with me or not. He's just really funny.
Yeah.
And he's
probably not fucking with you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I found him really funny.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You've seen the movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I tried to be as fair with him as possible. It would have been easy to lampoon him.
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, you could have been a lot harder on him than you were.
Oh, God.
But needless to say, I'm not spoiling anything.
But
so
he is a character.
So where did the boat end up? Where is it now?
It's in Vonore, Tennessee, because it's too heavy to go over most bridges, too tall to go under most bridges, and they wouldn't allow it on an interstate highway because it's like 2 lanes wide. I mean, there's all these like rules.
Wow.
Yeah, the amount of logistics.
So it couldn't just go to Lake Lanier.
Oh God, no, it's way too big.
No, the amount of logistics, which I never even thought of. Like, okay, first off, you got to get the thing out. You're going to cut the front off of the building or whatever. How are you going to get it out? But then to realize of all the DOT and all the people that you have to contact along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because it won't fit under bridges. It won't fit under stoplights.
Need
it won't
a permit or power line moved.
Oh, yeah,
across a railroad, right?
Yeah. There was power line guys lifting all the lines, and there was all kinds of shit.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's like a whole, it takes an entourage.
Yeah, it was a production.
So how much did it cost to move it from here to Tennessee?
A 6-figure sum. I don't know exactly what it cost. But
mid 6-figure?
I mean, certainly enough to go buy a brand new 911.
Yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing.
I am. I get it. Yeah.
Well, wasn't the first quote from Ponytail, wasn't it like 75 or 80K or something like that? Was that like?
I think it was something like that. Then the price kept going up as the adventure continued. The price accelerated.
Yeah.
As
That's funny.
things do.
Is it being driven yet?
No, it's in dry dock still. There was some hope that perhaps somebody would want to film the trip down the Tennessee River. And
to try to get it to the ocean?
Yeah. It's still actually never been driven. So,
Jeez.
they put this motor in there in like 2000, whatever.
Right.
It's never been turned over.
Wow.
So there's still a lot of speculation as to how seaworthy this thing is.
Yeah, which is not something that you want to speculate on in the ocean.
No. Because they basically had 2 options or 3 options, Vonore, Mobile, or Savannah. And Vonore ended up being the cheapest.
Interesting.
Because getting it the other ways, it was like other DOT permits, which were going to like involve like helicopters and dumb shit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you were like, after you saw it, okay, this could be fun.
Yeah. And we weren't doing anything because of the film industry being shut down.
Right.
So it was really kind of a
traffic was low.
No, I mean, just because the film industry isn't filming doesn't mean the rest of the world isn't. Like,
yeah, that's true. I was still working.
Yeah,
I didn't stop.
Yeah.
If we were in California, maybe there wouldn't have been traffic, but in Georgia,
pussies.
Plenty of traffic.
So is your goal now, and I found it fascinating, great job with it. So I think it's a cool piece to have in your portfolio under your director's belt. I mean, you getting any like great feedback from it? Like, is it?
Yeah, we don't have a studio behind it.
Is that something Netflix would pick up or?
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, you can watch it on Amazon and a bunch of other stuff now.
I think that's where I watch it.
But,
Prime.
Yeah, getting those licensing deals is tough. You'd think as a stunt guy, you'd be like, oh, you're a Hollywood insider. It's like, no.
They treat me like any other piece of shit out there.
Yeah, the stunt department, we're a peasant class.
We're expendable.
Quite literally.
Quite literally.
If he dies, he dies.
That's it.
I mean, they're not quite, anyway.
I wasn't being like literal.
So regarding the stunt thing, I had a question about the insurance. Do you have the opportunity to have health insurance?
The only way that I could get health insurance is through my union. And
got it.
Fortunately, SAG has pretty good insurance.
That's cool.
But I doubt I would be insurable if it wasn't through
the guild. Yeah.
guild.
So how
Guilds,
many,
whatever it
how
is.
fucked up have you gotten? Like, do you have a count on how much shit you've broken? And do you wake up like a wrestler every day, like your body just aches?
Oh, yeah, I wake up like shit. But what's funny is most of my injuries are actually from motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
I've got bad shoulders from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and just being stupid about tapping, and a bad ankle from getting it popped in a jiu-jitsu tournament.
Jiu-jitsu's hardcore.
But like my worst stuff is from like racing dirt bikes and, blowing out my ACL and shit like that.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff on set,
it's kind of controlled.
Yeah, it's less, hey, let's send it. Let's see what we can do. And it's more dialed in. So
yeah.
My worst injuries are from my own stupid, not at work.
That makes sense.
So Stunt Devil's kind of like a scaled back version of your real life.
It's certainly it's a better thought out version of my real life.
Yeah. That's the right guy for a stunt devil. You're out there doing stuff that's beyond what you're going to do in the stunt devil room.
Yeah,
so,
oh shit, this is what you want me to do?
Real estate guy like me, put me in the stunt devil room, I'm probably going to get hurt.
Typically speaking, on camera, you don't want to be doing anything that's like past kind of 80% of your skill threshold.
Right.
When the camera goes action,
yeah.
A lot of people have gotten really hurt.
I can see that. Yeah. That'd be me. I'd be like, action. Dun-dun-dun.
Well, they get excited.
Yeah, exactly.
That happens a lot. I mean, there's been some really horrible accidents.
Right? Like, what the f is he thinking? That wasn't
because you're trying to
even
go
in the
extra
script.
hard so you can get that extra look,
Did you get it? No, the camera wasn't on.
It's that. It's also, there's a lot of pressure. The machine is very intimidating. You got 400 people standing around. You got millions of dollars of equipment. You got big movie stars. You got all this shit.
Yeah, they're wanting you to have the best take you can get.
Yeah,
it'd be worse to do like a little pussy take. Everybody's kind of like...
Well, then they have to reset everything, and that's time.
It is. And so if you're doing something that's at 80% of your skill threshold, then you're not going to be super amped up in the fact that you're doing a stunt that you are not sure you are physically capable of doing.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, okay, I could do this stunt a million times, then that part of it's cool. And then you can deal with all the other bullshit of like the crew and the cast and the cameras and all that shit.
Yeah.
But if you're up 90+% of your skills,
right,
then you're also dealing with the pressure of the machine of film. And that's how people get really hurt.
Yeah.
Because they're doing stuff that's way too close to the threshold of their overall skills. And then some people don't know where their skills are because, they've gotten too many participation trophies or something.
That's true.
I showed up.
Yeah, they do stunts that they are not capable of doing, and it's no good.
Hey, thanks for listening to the ManFUzed Podcast. This will conclude part 2 of our episode with stuntman Nick Dekay. Join us tomorrow for part 3 as we get into what happened on the set of Rust. And is Alec Baldwin responsible for the death of cinematographer Elena Hutchins?